Okay, I have to learn to hold the microphone like this so I can see when it cuts out. I just want to make a public service announcement because I am fully aware that the video sound from the microphone cuts out all the time. But guys, when I record these, the whole thing is just to do it in one take. And I don't want to re-record. And sometimes I don't even watch it back before I upload it. I literally just hit end record and then it goes straight to YouTube. Yesterday was one of those days. But when I did watch it back eventually, I was like, wow, you actually cannot hear me at all. But I mean, you can hear me. It's not the same. So today I had my reading with Flex. It was so good. Little recap, I mentioned this the other day that I was getting a tarot reading from Flex Mummy. It actually ended up being more of an astrology reading, which as an astrologer, very cool to have your chart read. I don't think I've had my chart read. God, I want to say 2 years. And we actually said this at the beginning, how when you're a mystic of some kind and you facilitate, very rarely do you actually facilitate for yourself because it's almost like you're too close to it. And there is so much value in having your chart read, your cards read, whatnot, when you're trying to figure something out, or even just doing it periodically for the sake of it, just to like check in. And, you know, also I think with astrology too, like every reader has a different interpretation. And so hearing the way that they see your chart can be really powerful and add even more to your experience, even if you are an astrologer. So yeah, I literally wrote so many notes, like 3 pages worth of notes. And look, I'm not going to sit here and be like, this is what she said, this is what she said, this is what she said, and basically like give you a rundown of that, because why would you care about my astrology chart? But I did want to talk about the experience because it was so enlightening, kind of life-changing. One being that she reads in whole house rather than Placidus, and it's got me thinking that maybe I should be reading in whole house. I mean, not really, but I love Placidus. I love the accuracy. I love thinking about degrees. I love the degrees help me and my intuition look at a chart and sort of they pull me to different areas of the chart. So that's why I really love it. But the thing is that when you're doing whole house, some of your planets can jump from like what house they're in Placidus. So I've never had a whole house astrology reading before. And a couple of my pretty major placements that I've, to be fair, really struggled to relate to. Not always, but maybe recently, she illuminated, and it really gave me the sort of answers that I was looking for and clarity that I was seeking. I loved this reading. I mean, she's so good at articulating and she's such a communicator. She's so good at analogies. And I think that's why I fuck with her work in general, is because of how her brain works. I actually said to her, like, I really admire how you can share on a subject and be open-minded, but whether you say it or not, there's still a felt sense that there is you have an opinion about it, right? It's not just, oh, well, like she's not a fence sitter, and yet she's incredibly open. And I really love that in a reader. I think that is so important and can make you feel, or makes you feel, very held and supported when you're receiving the information. It makes you feel like you're being led in a really positive way. And what it got me thinking about was, how do I continue to stay open and explore these concepts and topics that interest me, whether they be deep, surface, high or low thoughts? How do I do so whilst abandoning this need to experiment? Let me just unpack this a little bit. So I've been saying like, oh, I'm experimenting with these videos. I'm experimenting with not engaging with short form. I'm experimenting with different working styles. I'm experimenting with Google Calendar. I'm experimenting with this application, that application. I'm always experimenting. I had the simplicity experiment. I talk about experimentation, and I think experimentation is incredibly powerful and important. But at what point does experimentation become a avoidance of being embodied? What point does it block your ability to truly be who you are and own what you think, what you feel, what you know is good for you? That is where I'm at right now. And I think I needed to do a lot of experimenting during the last year of my life. I want to say since my Saturn return, which was March 2023, because there were a lot of systems and a lot of structures that had to be broken down. But I think I need to exit that era. And when I say I think I know, I mean, that's really what I was kind of inadvertently looking for guidance on. And when we did the tarot portion, what really came through of like, you need to just choose what you're going to do. Are you going to choose the traditional route or the non-traditional route? And understanding that choosing the traditional route may mean that you are self-abandoning. It may mean that you end up living a life that you don't necessarily want to live, that isn't truly authentic. And also choosing the non-traditional route can also lead to hardship too, because you're having to feel like you have to constantly affirm yourself and explain yourself to other people and fight for the right to be accepted and respected even. And obviously that's like a really broad term. That's what came up through the cards with the Lovers card. But I have been doing that. It kind of made me realize, like, I've been saying, oh, I think I want to just do long form, but I'm just experimenting. If I'm really real with myself, I want long form content to be my go-to, and then the short form is just like the sprinkle on top. It's where I don't feel any pressure. I mean, I don't want to feel any pressure all around creating, especially creating content online. You know, I've been sort of wanting to experiment with separating myself from my brands, and even though I've gained the knowledge from the experience that I've had that shows me that yes, that does feel good for me, I still am not fully owning it. I might look like I'm owning it. I think I actually, when it's perceived, it looks like I'm owning it. I'm just doing this and I'm so like self-assured, but internally and through what I've actually said, it is still feeling like it's an experiment, and I need to exit my experimentation era. I'm done. I'm ready to start owning. And it's not to say that I won't need to go through another experimentation phase. I probably will. But as of right now, I need to own what it is that I think, what it is that I believe, what it is that I know is best for me. And letting go of experimentation and, quite frankly, being a bit of a fucking fence sitter is what I'm going to have to do. being offensive with myself. It doesn't mean that I actually have to get on here and share every single opinion, whether it be here or on the podcast. But if I know what I truly believe and what I think and what I have come to the conclusion is right, then that's going to be felt. And I actually don't need to say it directly. I don't need to get on here and be like, hey, this is my opinion on this, and this is why if you think this, you are wrong. I get to just share about it. I get to just yap about it, right? And so there's so much that came through about inspiration and how important inspiration is for me in my day-to-day life. And I said this to her too. It feels like everything you're telling me does not feel like new information. It feels enlightening because it's adding meaning to positive experiences that I've had through some of the experimentations. Like, I'm already doing it to some degree, but I'm only like just getting my fingers dusty, not even dirty. You know what I mean? I'm like looking at the water and seeing if it looks cold rather than just fucking doing it and committing. And yeah, out of all the like experiences I've had in the last week with the Lomi massage and the Kahuna massage and therapy and this reading and yeah, just experiences that I've had, it's just becoming blatantly clear to me that the experimentation era is over, and the embodied, and I hate using that word, but I know what's right for me, I know what I believe, the conviction that I was talking about, that's what it's going to be now. So I'm going to go to yoga tonight and continue to think about all this, like the tools that she's provided me with, and like just the ideas of how I can start to, again, embody the information that already felt true to me is so vast and amazing. And it was the most incredible reading that I had. It was such an honor to be able to be read by her. And also, I'm so excited to do my past life regression with her in a couple of weeks. She's also going through her Saturn return. Her Saturn return is obviously in Pisces like me. Hers is in the first house with her rising, her Mercury, and a couple of other placements as well. Like, she has a lot of Piscean placements. And I was like, this PLR is going to rock your fucking world. It's going to rock your mind. So I'm really excited to facilitate that for her. And again, just a matriarchal exchange. Feels like I'm in a coven. And yeah, I just love it. It was incredible. So she actually does readings. She releases them like once a month. Put your notifications on, like go to her page and put your notifications on for her, because you need to get a reading from her. They're so good. I mean, my astrology readings are available right now. You can go to my link on Instagram. If I can remember and be bothered, I will put the link for my readings down in the show notes. Mine are very pragmatic, and I think that's why I fucking loved it, because it felt like, okay, I know I'm banging on about how amazing this reading is, but it actually felt like I was being read by someone who reads very, very, very much like me. Very pragmatic, very modern. I use a lot of analogies that are like modern analogies. So does she. Kind of felt like I was being read by someone who is at the same caliber as me. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, I'm gonna go to yoga now, and I'm gonna think about it. I'm probably going to be thinking about it for the next couple of days. So strap in for some esoteric, philosophical, interpersonal chat over the next couple of days. I mean, don't hold me to it. I could just come on here and basically do a stand-up routine tomorrow. Who knows? You never know. but I got a feeling this is going to be swirling in my brain for a while. I'm already like thinking about the things I'm going to implement. Anyway, I'm going to shut up now. Love you. Rock on.